Okay, members and friends and creepers. I'm starting to pull out my encyclopedias because I think that's where I'm going to start with, you know, trying to jot down the definition of child abuse and psychological abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and physical abuse, and what constitutes that terminology. So I'm going to get up into my old dictionaries and my old encyclopedias. I have 2 here, and I've got a couple, 2, 3 more around the house. I'm pretty disturbed with this whole situation. We got the cops now involved. You know, that's just more stranger danger. That's just more people going up in front of my grandson and poking and prodding and, you know, trying to communicate with a child that over the last, you know, what, 4 or 5 weeks now, 5 weeks, you know, who has been psychologically damaged, emotionally fraughted in terms of frightened practically to death, has been isolated away from his family, and now they're going to try and communicate with him with their proven studies that nobody knows what they're doing, you know, in terms of what they're investigating. You know, police officer comes in here, well, you know, we don't really know. You know, you can't depend on the internet to give you the advice, and, you know, every doctor says something different, and, you know, and blah, and it's like we're coming into a new age of not knowing anything. You know, it's like going into a new universe and an uncharted territory, as if people don't know. Damn right people know. A lot of questions to be asked and a lot of questions to be answered, but of course, the family is sitting here, you know, waiting for some tidbits along the way, as the people that are under investigation are, you know, working to cover their tracks. You know, if the police are going to investigate child abuse, why don't they investigate the psychological part behind it? Why don't they investigate the emotional damage that they're causing my grandson? Why don't they investigate the, you know, the stranger danger aspect behind it, where he's being exposed to anywhere from 5 to 15 people a day? Now, if that's not traumatizing my grandson, I don't know what is. Like, I went off and bought a new pegboard. I got some paper here, as you can see. I got an easel downstairs that I can use to hang that paper on. I'm going to start making some charts. I'm going to try and flip the script here a little bit, right? You know, bring in some lingo, some documentation in terms of what does child abuse actually mean in the real context of the word more than one, child abuse. Why are the cops only interested in one type? You know, that's a big question. Because, oh yeah, I'm going to do a little wipeout board on morality. You know, I'd like to call it white morality, because again, it's mostly white people, and I'm a white person, so, you know, I'm talking about my own culture here, right? You know, it's not like I'm off with, you know, some other, you know, tribe and you know, pointing my fingers here. I'm actually pointing my finger at my own self, right? So, you know, I think I have authority to talk on that, being that I am white, and, you know, I kind of grew up with that privilege. But it's not no privilege that I want, because ultimately, when you get to the top of the food chain and you see how it works, and they come along with their Bibles, you know, you go to court with your affidavits. In this case, I have a Quran here, right? This is a Muslim one. They don't have these in the courthouses. They only swear you in under confirmation, or they give you the Bible to swear on if you did an affidavit to somebody. You know, you're gonna, if you serve somebody, you got to go in and sign an affidavit, right? Oh, yeah, and they want you to put your hand on the Bible and swear that you actually gave it to them and you knew what you were doing. And if you can't do that because, you know, it doesn't fit your criteria in terms of maybe this is your religion and this, you know, courthouse doesn't offer you this, right? You know, they're going to confirm that, they're going to just do a little confirmation there that you did this. You know, and then I went in there with my son with the first batch of papers. Oh, no, we can't take it. Oh, you know, because your son doesn't know what he served. I said, well, what is it? It's, you know, it's flyers. You know, it's a brochure, right? It's a court order for custody. That's what he served. Oh, well, you know, go do it again. So we went off and did it again. And I'm like, what a joke. You know, front desk. And I pointed out to my son, too. I said, look inside. What do you see in there? All white women. In the courthouse, it's all white women. 95% is white women running their morality across the people that are coming saying, can you help us? Can you help us? There's something wrong with the system. And these white women are saying, well, here, we're not going to help you other than the minimal amount. You go off and do it. When you come back, swear on our Bible. You know, tell us that you're telling us the truth, because we operate behind these brick and mortar that under morality. You know, we come in and we don't tell lies in court. But yet this whole situation with my grandson is being built on lie after lie after lie, and the lies are continuing, and they're mounting with the mounting police. And I don't care. You know, I've been working on my nonprofit for a very long time. This BC Liberal government has done absolutely nothing for me in terms of my nonprofit, okay? As far as I'm concerned, they don't care about the kids in my neighborhood. Because if they did, I wouldn't be sitting here 13 years later griping on about how I'm in debt and, you know, and I'm working myself to death because of the nonprofit just hanging on a thread and, you know, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the nonprofit will be what the nonprofit is, and this is the history of the nonprofit. And I'm not going to be afraid to talk about it. And I'm not going to be afraid to talk about white morality when you get up into a courthouse and they ask you not to lie. But at the same time, they allow these vipers, these so-called educated women, white women, with your, you know, your diversity in there, just to show that, you know, we're not built on institutional racism in Canada. God forbid if we were like that. So, you know, we put in a few minorities to make it look like, you know, we're diversified. But at the end of the day, my son looked in there and he said, you know, you're right, Mom. Finally, I actually realize what you're trying to say here. And then you throw your morality at me and say, swear on the Bible, so that you're not lying, that you serve somebody that stole your grandson away from you and is abusing him. Well, the courts protect that, but they don't protect the people. The courts don't protect the people. How many people really believe that the police protect the people? If you're on that side of the fence. Oh, if you're on the epitome of what is right, well, for sure they're going to protect you. It's all a cover-up. You know, you only investigate one aspect of child abuse. There's more than one aspect against child abuse. What about the emotional part? What about the psychological part? What about them killing his cortisols in his brain with all this fear? A fear factor. Next thing you know, they're going to start making him eat fucking cockroaches or something just to, you know, to make him all more scared. Why do they constantly want to scare my grandson? Isolate him. Poke and prod at him. Do their little questionnaires as if he can even answer. He's already forgot most of his language. He's forgotten his aunties. He's forgetting his uncles. He's forgetting his nana. He's forgetting his pets. I'm sorry. I was thinking of boots, because he won't put on shoes. Apparently he won't put on shoes. All he wants to do is wear his boots. Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that we got boots. Boots, where are you, boots? You know, maybe the fact that he knows his slippers and his shoes are at home, where he belongs. But instead, he's that bug study I was talking about. You know, he's that little psychological experiment. So they could document, right? Document what? What, that you're sadistic? That you gotta take your freaking university studies out into the public? And prey on vulnerable families? And then sit up there and expect those families to go up there and tell the truth while they lie and cover up their lies? And they use the court system to perpetrate and to continue on with those lies? It's kind of hard to do a wipeout board, right? It's kind of hard to do a little wipeout board because, you know, what am I going to say? But I will. I'll find the courage to do it. I'll find the courage to do it. You know, I'm depressed. You know, whatever. I'll find the courage, though. You know. And I'll probably do the little wipeout board around the morality of white people. Pretty blatant when you look at it. You know? Come up and talk about your morality. Swear on your Bibles. And for what? To get back lies? Games? Abuse? Torture? I'm not alone. I'm not alone on this. You know, when they were doing that Occupy Wall Street shit going on, cops in the United States were shooting everybody down and spraying them with their pepper spray and, you know, hitting them with their batons and rounding them up and putting them in fucking FEMA camps for 4 freaking days. You know, that's what people are pissed off about. Now you want to come up to my house and say you care. If you care, you'll look deeper than just the one aspect of child abuse. And you won't come back with a bunch of, oh, well, we really don't know. We think he did it to himself. You know? Get over it. No, he didn't do it to himself. He's being abused by a bunch of freaking strangers that are on a power trip and use the court system and their morality, their white fucking morality, to get away with their bullshit. That's what's happening. I want my grandson back home so I can get on with my life, so my children can get on with their lives, and my grandson can get on with his life. Okay? That's not too much to ask for when you live in Canada and you've worked hard to try and do something positive in your community, and the kids, you know, trying to steer straight and not get on to the, you know, to the broken path of, you know, a lot of trouble along the way. I got good kids, right? Nobody's perfect. My kids aren't perfect, but I got good kids. And what this government and their employees is doing to my kids and my family and my grandson is not right. I want my life back. I want my grandson to have his life back. I want my children to have their life back. And I want my family back together as one. Don't step to me with your lies and your morality.